For assignment 4, I wanted to focus on an activity that was using technology to solve a problem. And I've come up with the idea of be my voice. So in this project, I would like students to become the voice for an endangered animal. And I'd like the students to focus on the idea of how can I be an effective voice for endangered animals. So what I mean by this is that endangered animals cannot speak for themselves. And they have no way of communicating with people to let the public know what the issues are of why they're endangered or why they're threatened. And so I thought it could be a very engaging project to have the students pick an animal from Alberta. There are over 40 species in Alberta of animals that are endangered. So the students would pick an animal that they're interested, that they feel motivated to save, and then they would become the voice and give this animal a personality. And my idea is I would use social networking and social media sites to kind of create like a social media campaign for this animal. And the goal is to create awareness and interest in saving this animal. Now this fits really well with grade 9 science, because in grade 9 science unit A, the students study diversity. They also look at habitats. They look at the impact that humans have on animals. They look at captive breeding programs and what can be done to lessen the impact for threatened animals. They talked about extinct animals. So there's a lot of great outcomes that this project potentially would match really well with. I also see this fitting really well with some CTS classes. For example, in the media stream, there's some courses like COM 1015 where students are creating digital presentations. So they have to learn how to use some various presentation technologies and then collaborate and put together presentations. So that would work really well, because at the end of this project the students could present and they could also get maybe CTS credit for that. And of course, because the students would be interacting and using technology throughout this project fits to many ICT outcomes as well. So there's a few challenges with using social networking sites, and some of the challenges I foresee is that the students need to have email accounts to sign up for all of these sites. As well, these are going to be fake accounts. There's maybe some issues with privacy. Definitely want to keep the students safe, and so how I imagine this working is that the students are creating these sites. I am imagining using Facebook, Twitter, Blogger, and YouTube. But the students will be using an animal's name. So for example, I've picked the woodland caribou, and I've created the name Carrie Woodlands. So I've created all of my online sites using this name and using an image of a caribou. So it's kind of protecting my privacy because I'm not really using any personal information about myself. And that would be the goal for the students, is the students are not to divulge their own personal, private information. They need to be a little bit creative in how they approach this. Also, I think, there is an issue with the students interacting with strangers. It's going to be a challenge once the students are on these sites, and the goal of being on these networking sites is to network. They're supposed to increase their friends, increase their followers on Twitter, get people following their blog. That is the goal of creating a social media campaign. So we do need to have some very serious discussions in class to set the boundaries and make sure the students do understand, what is acceptable online and what is not, what is safe online and what is not, and kind of set those boundaries and make sure the students understand, what is acceptable, what's not acceptable. And I think grade 9 students, as long as we can have those discussions I think they'll be fairly responsible at following those guidelines and self-monitoring themselves. So of course, as I said, it is about keeping the students safe and then creating the buy-in. So to create buy-in, I think that's my role. And my goal is to really start the lesson off with a big hook, to try to get the students really interested in the problem of saving endangered animals and why we care about endangered animals. So I think it's going to be the first couple of lessons with the introduction and the hook to really create that buy-in for the students to be interested in this problem. And of course, permission. That will be a big part of this project as well, getting permission to use all of these sites, make sure that is acceptable with the parents, because these are minors, so parents do need to give their permission. And I think the best way to do that is to make sure the parents know what's going on and the parents have maybe access to some of these sites as well, and encourage the students to share their logins with their parents, or perhaps even create email accounts that the parents have access to, so that the parents can also at any time go online and kind of see what's going on. Because I think by making that transparent, it also helps the students be a bit more accountable if they know that maybe their teacher and their parents are going on these sites and just checking what's going on and interacting on these sites as well. So I think that I'd like to maybe try that as a way to minimize any danger there may be with having the students be on these online sites. So that's kind of a quick intro to the project, and you're going to see some more details, and hopefully you're going to get excited, just as excited as I am, about being my voice. Thank you.